Gregory Peck, born Eldred. Gregory Peck, on April 5, 1916, in La Jolla, California, lived a life that seemed larger than the silver screen itself. His early years, however, were anything but simple. When his parents divorced during his childhood, young Gregory was placed under the care of his grandmother. Despite these hardships, Peck's tall frame, noble presence, and quiet dignity marked him as different from the start. After attending San Diego State College, he transferred to the University of California, Berkeley, where he first discovered acting. What began as curiosity quickly transformed into conviction. And by the 1940s, Peck was pursuing the craft with everything he had. Started on stage, working tirelessly until Broadway came calling. His breakthrough on the boards soon caught Hollywood's attention, and in 1944, he made his film debut in Days of Glory. Audiences were immediately taken with his sincerity, his warmth, and his ability to bring depth and strength to every role. Same year, in The Keys of the Kingdom, 1944, he delivered such a powerful performance that he earned his first Academy Award nomination. 1 year later, Alfred Hitchcock cast him in Spellbound, 1945, further cementing his place in the industry. By the late 1940s and into the 1950s, Gregory Peck was one of Hollywood's biggest stars. In Gentleman's Agreement, 1947, he played a journalist, investigating anti-Semitism, earning yet another Oscar nomination, while starring in a film that challenged prejudice hidden. In westerns like Duel in the Sun, 1946, and The Gunfighter, 1950, he elevated the genre, giving complexity to roles that might otherwise have been defined only by action. And in Roman Holiday, 1953, his pairing with Audrey Hepburn became one of cinema's most beloved romantic duos. But Peck's most defining role came in 1962 as Atticus Finch in To Kill a Mockingbird, based on Harper Lee's Pulitzer Prize-winning novel. Peck embodied fairness, compassion, and moral courage. His portrayal earned him the Academy Award for Best Actor. And the character of Atticus Finch became more than just a role, became a symbol of justice and integrity in American culture. Even today, it is hailed as one of the greatest performances in film history. Peck's career remained strong throughout the 1960s S7S and into the 1980s. In Cape Fear, 1962, he played against type as a lawyer, terrorized by Robert Mitchum's chilling ex-con Max Cady in The Guns of Navarone, 1961, and McKenna's Gold, 1969. He showed his talent for epic adventure and Western storytelling. And in The Omen, 1976, he reached a new generation. Terrifying audiences in one of the most influential horror films of its era, off-screen Gregory Peck was equally admired. A passionate supporter of social justice and civil rights, he lent his voice and time to causes promoting equality and freedom of expression. In 1969, his efforts were recognized when he was awarded the Presidential Medal of Freedom, one of America's highest civilian honors. Peck's personal life was as layered as his career. In October 1942, he married Greta Kuusinen, a Finnish-American, who became active in humanitarian and community work. Together, the house had 3 sons: Jonathan, born 1944, Stephen, born 1946, and Carrie Paul, born 1949, although the marriage lasted over a decade. They divorced in December 1955, after 13 years. The most devastating moment of Peck's life came years later, when Jonathan died in 1975, at just 30 years old, in what was ruled a suicide. "It's the most terrible thing that has ever happened to me," Peck confessed. "You never get over a thing like that." Friends said this tragedy left a permanent scar, deepening the compassion and gravity that always seemed to emanate from him. Shortly after his divorce, Peck found love again. On New Year's Eve, 1955, one day after his first marriage was officially dissolved, he wed Varane Pisani, French journalist he had first met in 1952 while she was assigned to interview him in Paris. Their connection blossomed into a lifelong partnership that lasted nearly 50 years until his passing. Together they had 2 children. Anthony, born 1956, who pursued acting and became widely known for his marriage to supermodel Cheryl, Tease, and Cecilia, born 1958, who built a career as an actress, producer, and filmmaker. Gregory and Varane's union endured through the decades. Admired in Hollywood as one of the most steadfast and loving marriages in an industry often marked by short-lived unions. He also relished being a grandfather with his grandchildren, including actor Ethan Peck, son of Steven, who now stars as Spock in Star Trek Discovery and Strange New Worlds, carrying his artistic legacy into a new era. For years, fans speculated about Peck's relationship with fellow screen giant Robert Mitchum. Their most famous collaboration was Cape Fear, 1962, where Peck's upright lawyer clashed with Mitchum's terrifying villain. The question lingered. Were they friends, rivals, or simply professionals? Peck stayed silent for decades, but later in life, he finally addressed it. While their styles couldn't have been more different, Peck's rooted in preparation, discipline, and classical training, Mitchum's in instinct and effortlessness. Peck admitted deep respect for Mitchum's artistry. He made it look easy, Peck said, but that was his genius. He recalled Mitchum's menacing presence on Cape Fear, which made his performance as Max Cady unforgettable. Yet off-camera, Mitchum's wit could lighten even the tensest moments. Peck described him as someone who balanced darkness with humor, making grueling shoots more bearable. Though Peck admitted he sometimes found Mitchum's rebellious lifestyle puzzling, he admired his authenticity. He was his own man, Peck said, never tried to fit anyone else's idea of what a movie star should be. That takes courage, and I respected that. In those words, Peck gave audiences rare insight into the connection between two titans of Hollywood. Despite their differences, he revealed a mutual respect that transcended rivalry. On June 12, 2003, Gregory Peck passed away peacefully in his sleep at age 87 at his home in Los Angeles from brought-up pneumonia. At his side was Veron, his wife of nearly 5 decades. His passing marked not just the loss of a beloved actor, but the closing of a golden chapter in Hollywood history. Tributes poured in worldwide. Fellow actors, filmmakers, politicians, and fans mourned not just a movie star, but a man who embodied honor, compassion, and integrity. Dacus Finch had already immortalized him as a figure of justice, but in death that role seemed even more profound. Veronique devoted herself to preserving his legacy until her own passing in 2012. Today, through his children, grandchildren, and the countless roles that continue to inspire, Gregory Peck's presence lives on. He was and remains one of Hollywood's brightest beacons of dignity,